This stand demonstrates 4 different methods of using compressed air and how compressed air may be saved. Let me say this before we start. I've set everything up to recycle about 18 times per minute. We have about a 6-pound weight on each actuator. 90% of the applications in the market today are set up very similar to this, where we use compressed air to drive the air cylinder one direction only, no forces required in return direction. However, most of the time it's set up just like this, where compressed air is coming in at full line pressure. It's fed through an air valve to the cylinder. The only type of regulation is speed control regulation. So even though we only need about 40 or 50 psi to move this weight up and down, we're feeding it 90 psi. So all the excess energy is wasted over the exhaust. As we move up and down, you can see from the meter that we're using about 7 SCFM. The next instance, we've taken the same air valve and we've added regulators to it. So in this case, we regulate both pressure and flow. This provides us the ability to move the unit up and down at the same speed, but at the force required for the job. Watching our display up here, you can see that we've already cut our flow in half by just doing this. The third instance, we have a brand new technology that was developed in Sweden that we call our Smart AP system. In this instance, we regulate the cylinder at the pressure required for the job on the extend, but on the retract, we take the air from the retract side and go into an accumulation tank. So essentially, we're reusing that same air time and time again. In this instance, we throw the air away. In this instance, we reuse the air. The Smart AP unit is designed to replace or replenish any air that may be wasted over the seals of the cylinder. The beauty of this system is that we can run multiple cylinders off one single unit. Now if we go back and look at our flows, we've cut our flow in half when we've gone from this to the regulated. Then when we go from the regulated to the Smart AP system, I've cut the flows in half again. Finally, we have a different type cylinder. The best way to save money on compressed air is not to use compressed air at all. In this case, we have electronic actuator. It uses no air. It's set up with a ball screw and either stepper or servo motor. It's set to do the same force and at the same speeds as these others. Now let's go over to our screen and look at the actual usage of these units. One of the things that we do with the Recon group is we measure before and after any project we take off. Our measurement is done through what we call our wrap box, our resource and production. This data is taken, collected, and sent, as we say, to the cloud, where the data is available to anyone with a server. In this case, we can see the usage of each circuit. We see that the top unit is using about, like I said, 6 SCFM of air. The regulated unit is using about 3.5 SCFM. The Smart AP is 1.5 SCFM. And then the other chart actually goes over and shows amperage. Our electronic cylinder is using about 1.3 amps. So you say, how much does that cost me? What does that mean in real dollars? Well, let's look at this. In this case, we see that the non-regulated cylinder is costing us over $769 a year to operate. Now we compare that to the regulated system, and we've gone down to $383 a year. So that tells you for an investment of about $120 worth of components, we've already saved over $300. For a little more of an investment, we've dropped our cost down to $143 a year. Now remember, I said the best way to save on the cost of compressed air is not to use it. Look what happens with our electronic cylinder. This is only costing $20 a year to operate. True, the cylinder is more expensive initially to buy, but the cost in operation will more than make up for it. So what we talk about with Recon is the cost of anything is more than the initial purchase price. We have to look at the cost of operation. Thank you.